This video we will be discussing the economics part 3 related current affairs, that too for the month of April, and we have covered all the sources that have been mentioned here and we call it as sure short question series. Let's begin the video. CAR recently seen in news stands for capital account ratio, capital adequacy ratio, current account ratio, current account adjustment ratio. Here the CAR, it was recently in news and it stands for capital adequacy ratio. Second question. Consider the following statements regarding ways and means advances. Do remember WMA. If at all in exam they asked what does WMA stands for, it is nothing but ways and means advances. It was introduced in the year 1997. Second, these are the temporary advances given by RBI to state and center to tide over the mismatch in receipts and payments. Third, ways and means advances is a part of FRBM Act. The question is asking which of the following statements are not correct. Right? The question is asking which of the following statements are not correct. See, it was introduced in the year 1997. Yes, wage and means advances were introduced in the year 1997. Therefore, here first option should not be present because it is right and the question is asking not correct. You can eliminate 1 and 2 options. The remaining are 3 and 2 only. These are temporary advances. Yes, wage and means advances. These are temporary advances given by RBI to the states as well as center in order to tie up with the mismatch in receipts and payments of those states or center. The third statement, wage and means advances is a part of FRBM Act. See, this statement is wrong because wage and means advances are not part of FRBM Act. When was this FRBM Act passed? It was in the year 2003, right? What does FRBM stands for? Do comment it in the video below. Next question. CCCB recently seen in news stands for Center for Cultural Competitive Board, Counter Cyclic Capital Buffer, Course on Computer Concepts in Brief, Counter Cyclonic Handling Capacity Management Board. Here the right answer is Counter Cyclic Capital Buffer, right? 3C and 1B, it stands for Counter Cyclic Capital Buffer. Next question. NBFC lending and disclosure guidelines are issued by which authority? NBFC is nothing but non-banking financial companies. NBFCs are non-banking financial companies and these are also regulated by RBI. Therefore, the answer for this question is RBI. That is, the guidelines are issued by RBI. LEI, recently seen in news, stands for Language Efficiency Intelligence Test, Legal Data Identifier, Liquidity Economic Resource Identification, Limiting Enforcement of Identity. Here the right answer is Legal Data Identifier. See, this is by RBI. Legal Data Identifier is by RBI. And these data are accessible over all the world. That is, from all over the world you can access this data. And you can identify the legal data from that portal itself. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding Nidhi company. In recent times, there is a sharp rise in the number of Nidhi companies. Second, Nidhi is similar as NBFC, that is non-banking financial companies. Third, a public company set up as Nidhi and share capital of rupees 10 lakhs needs to be first get itself declared as Nidhi from RBI. Which of the following statements are correct? Right? Options 1 and 2, 3 only, 1 and 3 and 2 and 3. See, in recent times there is sharp rise. Yes, there is a sharp rise in number of Nidhi companies and that's why this was in news, because in order to regulate these Nidhi companies, there has been a issuance of new guidelines recently. Second, Nidhi is similar as NBFC. Yes, these are similar to NBFCs. And this third statement is also correct partially because it should be declared as Nidhi from central government, right? And not from RBI. It should be declared as Nidhi from central government and not from RBI. Therefore, eliminate the third option, right? The remaining answer is 1 and 2 only. Next question. Who regulates the Nidhi company? Ministry of Finance, RBI, SEBI and Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Nidhi company are also regulated by RBI because in the previous slide we have seen that Nidhi company is similar to NBFC. Right? And I told you that RBI does regulates NBFC. If Nidhi company is similar to NBFC, right? That means these Nidhi companies are also regulated by RBI. Consider the following statement regarding strategic disinvestment. Recently, the new guidelines on strategic disinvestment are released by Department of Revenue under Ministry of Finance. As per new guidelines, now state governments and even public sector enterprises can buy out another public sector units. Third, strategic disinvestment means selling of government shares of up to 50% along with the management transfer. Which of the following statements are correct? 1 and 2, 3 only, 1 and 3, 2 and 3. See, recently the new guidelines on strategic disinvestment are released by not Department of Revenue and Ministry Revenue, but it is released by the same other department in the Ministry of Finance itself, and it is known as Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. Department of Investment and Public Asset Management. Right? This has released the new guidelines. Therefore, the option 1 is wrong. You can eliminate option 1. Second statement, as per new guidelines, now state governments and even PSCs can buy out another PSU. See, from 2014, if at all you check out the strategy of the government, it is nothing but in order to involve the private sector in the public enterprises, right? In that state, the new guideline states that the state government or any public sector enterprise should not buy the other public sector units, because it is in disinvestment and it should go to the private management. That's why this statement is also wrong, and eliminate this. The remaining answer is 3 only. Right? Next question. FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange Management Act, recently seen in news, Amendment Rules 2022, comes under which ministry as of 2022? Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Tourism, and Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Here the right answer is Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance, FEMA is regulated by Ministry of Finance. That means whatever the foreign funds that are received to India, right, that are received to India is all managed by this FEMA Act. Next question. Consider the following statements regarding RNOR. It stands for Representative of NRI Ordinary Resident. Second, RNOR are those who spends over 120 days but less than 182 days. Third, also who earns 15 lakh or more from the assets in India. The first statement, it stands for Representative of NRI Ordinary Resident. This statement is wrong, because RNOR is nothing but resident. It is resident but not ordinary resident. The statement states that RNOR is nothing but resident but not ordinary resident, and the remaining two statements are right. And so the correct answer here is 2 and 3 only. Next question. Export promotion capital goods. Export promotion capital goods. See, even you need to remember the short form, because these type of short forms can be asked in exam and you have to know those abbreviations, right? EPCG. Export promotion capital goods comes under which ministry? Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Commerce, and Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Here the right answer is Ministry of Commerce. Export promotion capital goods comes under Ministry of Commerce. Consider the following statements regarding MSMEs. It contributes around 30% of India's GDP. Second, it contributes to over 30% of India's export. Third, it contributes to over 45% of India's manufacturing output and creates 11.1 crore jobs. Which of the following statements are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 only, 1 and 3, 2 and 3 only. See, MSMEs contributes 30% of India's GDP. This statement is right. It contributes to over, it's not 30%, but it contributes to over 48% of India's export. It contributes to over 48% of India's exports. And third, it contributes to 45% of India's manufacturing by allowing or creating 11.1 crore jobs per year. Therefore, the second statement you should eliminate it. The remaining answer is 1 and 3 only. Next question. Zero deficit, zero effect. Zero defect, zero effect. It's not deficit, it's zero defect and zero effect. Recently seen in news is by which ministry? Ministry of Finance, Ministry of MSME, Ministry of Railways, Ministry of Road and Transport. Here the right answer is Ministry of MSME. Why this scheme was in news? See, this scheme was launched in the year 2016, and the scheme was launched in order to make the MSMEs of India competitive across the world. In order to increase the exports, this scheme was launched, and it was launched by Ministry of MSME. FFPI is an index recently released by Niti Ayoga, FCI, FAO, and Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative. See, if you even know the full form of FFPI, you can easily answer this. It is FAO, because FFPI stands for FAO, Food Price Index, right? Food Price Index. Next question. J form recently seen in news is by which state for the first time in India? That too, it has been issued for the first time in India. First one, Arunachal Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, West Bengal. The right answer is Punjab. See, what would used to happen whenever the farmer go to APMC, he would used to sell some of his products. In turn, whoever is the commissioner, I mean the middleman, right? He is the farmer, and he is the middleman, and he is the receiver, or he is the buyer, right? Whenever the farmer sells to this buyer, he will get the receipts from this middleman, and those are not valid in banks or any of the financial sectors, right? This is only for the reference of the farmers, right? In order to tackle this, what Punjab has done is that it has issued J form. Now what will happen? The farmer will sell to the buyer, right? Even though middleman is there, but this farmer will receive the J form, that is nothing but the receipts that he has sold for the farmers directly from the buyer. Now he can take it to the banks, right? Now he can take it to the banks, where he can show these J receipts or J form, and he can avail financial services such as loans, advances from the bank itself. So these are type of the instruments that will help the farmers for financial inclusions. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, you can hit the like button, and if you want more such content, you can do subscribe to the channel. If you want to join the Telegram channel, you can join. The link will be provided in the description. Thank you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.